All right, gang, Michelle McPherson here. We're going to get started with Crowd Mountain Bootcamp Module number 6 Q&A session. And I thank everyone who is attending live. I know that it's less than it normally would be because we had a delay in starting the call, so I apologize for that. But thank you guys who are here. And everybody else who's listening in the recording, enjoy. And I've also got another announcement that will be coming out in the next day or so to help you guys out as we continue Crowd Mountain beyond the boot camp. So starting with our questions, number 1 is from Kathy. Oh, and by the way, of course, while you're listening, you can absolutely submit questions, and I will answer them on the call. We don't have too many this week, so we should have a short call. Kathy says, why wouldn't posting the same video to multiple sites be considered duplicate content by Google? We can use the same video with the same headline description, etc., without having to change anything the way that we do for blog text posts, and she's asking if that's okay. The deal with video sites is that, in general, they don't allow a lot of text. I mean, your description that you're creating isn't going to be a 500-word description. And then your video itself, well, there is some things that Google can index in a flash video, like they can index the text in a PowerPoint, I believe it is, or maybe it's just the text in any flash video. I'm not sure about the technicalities of that. But for the most part, they can't index the actual content of the video. So, yes, your page is going to have the same description. Your page on all of the different video sites is going to have the same title, but the Google doesn't know, number 1, if your video is exactly the same. The other thing is that because there is so little actual text content that you're creating on that page, and then there's all of the surrounding content that's created by the video site, so it might be similar videos on the right-hand side or, ads on the left-hand side or whatever the video sites might be displaying in addition to your own video on any video post page. It's not going to be considered duplicate content because there's so many other factors involved in them not being able to necessarily read your video, them looking at a short description that's the same as the description that they may find somewhere else, but there's also many other things on the page that are going to be indexed in addition to your description. So it's not something to be concerned about. In addition, most of the video sites are considered authority sites in Google, so they get a little kind of break from Google about the duplicate content thing. An authority site is always going to excuse me, not always, but they generally get a little bit more leeway with things like duplicate content. And then the other thing is that I'm sure that you guys have heard of it. There's a program called Traffic Geyser. It's like $97 a month or something, and I do have it. I really don't think that it is worthwhile it's not even worthwhile for me at this point. I don't put up hundreds of sites every month, so submitting these videos out to all the different video sites with Traffic Geyser, which does allow you to use different descriptions through multiple submissions of your video, it's really just not worth it for the kind of money that you would have to pay to have that kind of ability. So it's not something to worry about, and Traffic Geyser, while it gets a lot of hype, it is a cool program, but, if you can use TubeMogul, then use that. That's what I'm using now because it's not worth the hours of time, or pardon me, the hundreds of dollars that Traffic Geyser costs for our purposes. Jane says, with the economy the way that it is right now, what has been your experience with Internet marketing? How has it affected your marketing income? It actually hasn't. I found in terms of Internet marketing products themselves, people are more interested than ever before about learning how to make some extra income. And in terms of niche products, I haven't seen a dip at all. The only dips that I have seen historically have been directly around Christmas time and shortly thereafter as people are busy doing family stuff. So that's all that I really see right now with our economy. As dismal as it is or is reported in the news, it doesn't seem to be affecting sales. Rochelle asks, I've seen some sites that have a Twitter widget on their blogs that show their Twitter tweets on their blogs. Should we do that with our blogs? You can, and there's a friend feed widget also that we didn't use in our videos, but that will display everything that you posted on friend feed recently as opposed to displaying the different sites that you are a member of. And if this is a niche that you plan on being very active in, that you have a passion for, that you're going to be on Twitter about all the time, then yeah, go ahead and do that. And you can show your Twitter tweets on your blog. I show them on both of Inside Crowd Mountain and also on my main blog, because it's a niche, the internet marketing stuff, that I'm involved in and talking about all the time. So I do that, but I would only recommend doing that if you plan on being really active on Twitter for your niche. Otherwise, the benefit isn't really all that great for you. Next question is from James. He says, some questions, nothing to do with Module 6. That's okay, James. When trying to build links, I do not think that reciprocal linking has been touched upon. I know it's not as effective as it used to be, but I would imagine that it would still help sometimes. Blog rolling is one option, but you can add a resource page with links, or is that just not done on blogs? Yes, you can add a blog roll and you can add a resource page. The problem is that you have to get those other people to link back to you. And in general, people, when they receive a link request, think that it's spam or they just aren't interested. And getting them to link to you, please link with this anchor text and all this kind of stuff, I don't think that it is worth the time that you put into it. So that is why I don't recommend reciprocal linking. There are many other ways to get links that are much faster. James also says, I'm not sure how trackbacks really work, but I think that they are also somewhat related to linking, and I seem to recall you saying that I turn off trackbacks during the setup videos. He says, I may be wrong. If you turn off trackbacks, why? What I'm doing is I am not accepting trackbacks from other blogs when we set up our sites, and that was in the Optimize for Size videos in Module 2. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I don't want to link out to other blogs that link to me. So that's how a trackback works. A blog out there in the world will create a link to my blog, and then it will notify my blog, and then that trackback will be created on my blog, linking in my comments section. It'll link back to these people who just linked to me, saying, oh, here's another post that just linked to me. That's all fine and good, and it's very touchy-feely, warm social media stuff. But I don't need to be linking to every place that links to me, because then we're creating a reciprocal link situation, and that's not what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create one-way links. So I turn trackbacks off for accepting links, and that means that I'm not going to be linking out to people that link to me. Now, sending out trackbacks is another deal. If you're the one who's sending out the trackback to another site, that means that you've linked to a post on another blog. Your blog, with the way that WordPress is, will automatically notify that other blog that you've linked to them, and then it will create a trackback on their blog, assuming that they have trackbacks turned on. Most blogs do. And then the webmaster will have the option to either approve or deny that trackback and having it published on their site if they have comment moderation turned on. So there, I'm creating a link from their site to mine. And, of course, I have to link to them to do that. But if for some reason I am already linking to them, perhaps in the content of my post it's necessary or something like that, then that's fine. The one thing that this will create then is, links from these other blogs to you. And what we're doing with that is with our Google shared items, many of those sites, if you've found some blogs in your niche and you've added them to your Google Reader and you're using the Google Shared Items plugin, when you post your automatic Google Shared Items post, you're going to be linking to these other sites. And it's also going to send out a trackback to them. Again, that's assuming it's a blog. And those blogs may or may not link back to you. Oftentimes they will. So you're getting a link from them with the Google Shared Items that you're already using. So it's hey, what the heck? It's just more links for you as any way that you can get them. And again, we're doing this. This is all automated. To go out there and necessarily create these kind of trackbacks for you, since it is a reciprocal link, and to purposely link to other blogs for the purpose of a trackback isn't worth it. But since we're doing it automatically with our Google Shared Items plugin, then it's a good thing to have. And James also says, finally, when making posts, I am in a bad habit of publishing rather than previewing a post. And then in the following 20 minutes, making about 20 changes, like adding an extra photo or making something bold or correcting spellings. Are there any negative effects because this causes repeated pinging every time you publish a post? No. the situation with over-pinging that you may have heard of, and like, it'll get you banned from the ping directories, or it'll get you banned from Google, or all that kind of stuff. This is talking about people who are pinging the same post, say, every 5 minutes for days on end to get it indexed, or every single post from their blog every 10 minutes for days on end to, they think, or it used to, create more links for you and get a site indexed quickly. That doesn't work anymore. They wised up to it. Now, a general blogger absolutely publishes a post and goes back and looks at it and goes, oh, geez, I messed that up. And then they go back. That happens all the time, and it's not going to raise a red flag. Now, if you published, 100 posts immediately and then went back and re-pinged all of those 100 posts again 5 minutes later and did it again 5 minutes after that and did it again 5 minutes after that, yeah, you're going to raise a red flag. But in your situation, James, that's pretty natural blogger behavior for us to make some typos and have to fix it. Next questions. We've got several here from Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. She says, adding the RSS feeds to videos. Why do we want to add each RSS feed for the same video to our friend feed account? Won't that show duplicate content on each site and our friend feed accounts are on, such as Squidoo? Yeah, it'll show some duplicate content in terms of any site that you're using that RSS feed for and you're feeding it to will show the same entries. However, those sites also have other content on them, so it's okay. And about submitting the friend feed RSS to the Crowd Mountain bookmarking tool. Do we need to wait until all activities have been completed, such as adding the RSS feeds to our friend feed accounts before submitting it to the Crowd Mountain bookmarking tool? Or are we okay to submit the friend feed RSS as soon as we've created our friend feeds accounts? Yes, you can submit it immediately. Any new posts or entries into your friend feed will automatically then be brought in through the RSS bookmarking tool to the bookmarking accounts as you create them later on. So that's no problem. Next question. The Crowd Mountain bookmarking tool versus the Crowd Mountain RSS tool. Please clarify which feeds are submitted to each tool. For example, for the RSS tool, do we only submit our site's RSS feed? None of the other feeds, not any of the other feeds we might create, such as the video RSS feeds. No, you can submit all of them to all of them. So, any video feeds, any friend feed, any blog feed, whatever, you can submit each of them to the bookmarking tool and the RSS blaster. Next question is about creating videos. Do you know of any decent screen capture video programs that aren't quite as pricey as Camtasia? I had private label rights to one a long time ago, and I'm not sure if it still works. I don't see why it wouldn't. Last time I tried it, I think I was using an XP computer, and now I'm on Vista, so I don't know if that would cause any problems. But I'll check it out. I'll make a note of it here and upload it to the members area. It doesn't have as many features as Camtasia. The other thing that you can do is to actually use Jing, which is from TechSmith, who are the creators of Camtasia, and it'll allow you to do a screen capture video, and then what you can do is use one of those, let me go back. It'll allow you to create a screen capture video and then upload it somewhere, right? So you can upload it to their free service called screencast.com. That will put that file on their screencast.com site, and then you can use a Firefox plugin. I believe that Download Helper is one of them, and download that video now to your computer and then convert it into because you can't upload Flash videos, .flv or SWF to the video site, so you'll download that FLV video back to your computer, and then you will convert it into a .mlv or whatever file form you'd like, and that way you can do it without actually purchasing Camtasia. But I'll see if that screen capture, I don't even know if I still have it on my hard drive. But anybody else also who has a screen capture program suggestion that isn't as pricey as Camtasia, submit it. We'd love to hear about it. Next question also from Rochelle is about Facebook fan pages. She says that I'll admit up front that I'm totally ignorant to Facebook. Just about everyone I know says that I need to get involved, including my 60-year-old mother. The phrases that you are using or that I am using are new to her, such as fan pages, fan streams, and so on. So if my question doesn't make sense, please forgive my ignorance. You suggest making a fan page for each topic instead of creating a new account and profile. We can use a pen name on the fan page. Using your site as an example, wouldn't people be able to trace your Juice Cleanse fan page back to your profile and then see that you are not really Kylie Johnson, or is it simply not becoming a fan of your own fan page enough to protect your actual identity? Yes, as far as I can tell, and I've scoured the pages, there is nothing that links back to you as the owner of the page as long as you are not a fan of your own page that you create. Rochelle also asks about connecting our networks and our friend feed widget. If we're not going to be into social networking and we're just focusing on the link building aspect, should we still do the steps outlined here? And that was the placing of our friend feed widget on all of our different properties that we're creating out there. And if you are not going to be doing the social networking portion and you just want to focus on your link building because this is a niche that you really don't want to get that deeply involved in, and that's okay, then, yeah, you do not have to go through the process of doing the friend feed widget on all the different sites because you're not going to be very active on those profiles. Your point, then, of the profiles that you create at social networking sites is just to have a link from them. So encouraging people to visit your basically dead profile on those sites might lead to disappointment in their eyes, and you'd be better off if they didn't see that widget at all and just clicked a link in your content instead and went to an affiliate product or more information that you're linking to. Okay, next question also from Rochelle. My final thoughts on Module 6 before the conference call begins. This was the most difficult module for me because I'm not all knowledgeable or comfortable with this stuff. You did a great job breaking it down and explaining it. Thanks for that. I might just attempt these strategies for one of my sites. I look forward to whatever. Oh, okay, this wasn't a question. It was just a compliment. Thank you, Rochelle. And, yeah, the key for using the social networking portion of stuff is that you really have to be into it. You can't fake it. I mean, who wants to spend this kind of time talking to people about something that bores them to tears? I don't want to, and that's okay. I've got all kinds of sites and all kinds of niches that I don't do any kind of social networking on. I do have profiles, and I do it for the link, and that's that. And that's absolutely fine. All right, next question is from Jane. She says, Michelle, can you recommend a tool for finding our blog site listed in Google? I'm not sure what you mean, Jane. If you're looking to see if your site is indexed, then you'll put site : and then yourdomain.com, and it will tell you how many pages Google has indexed. And if you mean a tool to find your ranking for your keywords, we've spoken about this a little bit on some past calls, but there's going to be something coming out that we'll be using for that. And if I am incorrect on what you mean by that, Jane, go ahead and resubmit or post it in any comment somewhere on the site if you're not on this live call, and I will try to clarify. Next question is also from Jane, and she says, can you recommend a tool that would keep track of my login info and passwords? Yes, I use RoboForm, and it has a Firefox extension, so it'll work in your Firefox and your Internet Explorer so that you can remember all your passwords, and that's what I use. I also use, what is it called? I will bring it up very quickly. It's like to sync. I use Foxmarks Bookmark Synchronizer. That's a plugin also for Firefox, and this synchronizes the passwords and usernames that Firefox remembers across your different computers should you use more than one. Like I've got a little netbook that I use a lot of the time now. But Firefox doesn't remember a lot of passwords at different sites, and it will only remember like one for each site. So if you want to be able to remember like 4 Squidoo logins for 4 different niches, then you'll want to use RoboForm for that. Norm says, going back to Module 1, could you comment on the pros and cons of using keywords that are purposely misspelled? On the one hand, there's less competition, but on the other hand, you look like an illiterate dunce. What I've seen a lot of people do and what I've done myself is you'll create a blog post and it will use the misspelling as the title, and then you say in your blog post, a lot of people think that this word is spelled this way, but actually it's spelled this way. So you're acknowledging that is a misspelling, and then you go on to talk about it and that way you actually get to use the misspelling in your post and your title as well, and you're educating people, which is always a wonderful thing. Next question is from Rhonda. She says, I'm wondering how to get more professional looking on the social sites. I am a farm gal that raises dairy, goats, and more, and if I have any goat questions, I can ask. Thank you, Rhonda. So most of my pals have livestock and dogs, etc. As a result, I got a lot of really unprofessional-looking tweets and messages on Facebook, so I have not used them all. On Facebook, that's a matter of deciding what your profile is going to be for. If your profile is going to be, if you are going to use a profile as opposed to a page to identify yourself in your niche, then, you can't be friends with your friends, and that's a horrible thing. And that's why I recently went out and got rid of all of my internet marketing people, except for those that, I'd met before, on my Facebook profile, because I wanted to be able to be myself on it, and I wanted to be able to post pictures of my kids, so that my family could see them and stuff like that, and my goats that we just got, and all that kind of stuff. And not have people think that I'm unprofessional. So instead, I just got rid of everyone who doesn't know me as a person, but instead knows me as a marketer. So you'll have to either use Facebook for your niche only, and don't post that kind of stuff. Don't be friends with your real friends, which sucks. But if you're not into the networking portion of Facebook anyway, to talk to your real friends, then it might not be a bad thing. Or you'll need to go with the Facebook page and use that, and that will be your professional face on Facebook. Next question is from Mike. He says, is there going to be a Module 7? What's next? All kinds of things are coming up, Mike. Actually, I'm really, really, really excited. There's going to be a link building tool. There's going to be another tool that will help you get your content created and posted to your blog, 100% unique content created for you. And what else have I got going for you guys right now? We're going to be doing sort of a bonus module, yes. I'm not going to tell you the topic of that at this point. And then also one of the most voted things that people wanted to learn about was about using data feeds on their sites and promoting that kind of storefront or, data feed-driven affiliate type of site. So we will be doing content on that as well. And, that's why we have that widget in the sidebar at Crowd Mountain in the members area, because I want to know what you guys want to learn so that I can give that to you. And so all the suggestions that come in there we will be covering over time. But we're going to start out with the data feed thing because that was the most popular. Next question is from George. He says, I'm finding that Traffic Geyser does not get all the rankings as it did last year, so it's only useful to get stuff out there quickly. I hear that they're working on getting it working again. Yeah, they've had some problems, and TubeMogul at this point is free, and Traffic Geyser is ridiculously expensive, so I don't see any reason to be using Traffic Geyser right now. Okay. Next question is from Mike. He says, if replying to strangers' Twitter posts is so easy, is there commonly accepted practices understood in the community in order to keep from appearing to be a weirdo or a spammer? Is there Twitter spam? Yeah, there is Twitter spam, and Twitter spam is often identified as someone who link drops too much. Like in the video, I talked to a lot of people about like starting their juice cleanses, and oh, what kind of a cleanse are you doing? I asked them questions. If I had gone to them and said, oh, good luck on your juice cleanse, I have some information about starting a juice cleanse for newbie juice cleanse people at this link, and then drop my link, that's Twitter spam. They're not asking for that at that point, and I don't have any kind of reputation at that point as I'm a new user to justify that. Now, I'm in the internet marketing niche, have been a long time. I have, some followers. People know who I am. And eventually if you choose to use Twitter as one of your social networking profiles and actually participate in it, you may get to that point as well in your niche where people are like, hey, this is the person to talk to. There's a couple of fitness gurus on Twitter, so I'll use that as an example. This is the person to talk to about different fitness questions. And, you could find a post from someone in that case where they're saying that they're starting something or, whatever, and you reply back with, hey, I actually just wrote about this over here, go check it out. to do that, you're going to need to have good content, and to do that, you're going to need to have something of an established reputation already. Otherwise, you will be considered Twitter spam. And then the other part of the question was, is there commonly accepted practices understood in the community in order to keep from appearing to be a weirdo? I don't know. I mean, I would honestly just say it's sort of like common sense, you know. If you say something to someone and they reciprocate and they respond to you, then, you know, go ahead and follow up with that conversation just like you would in real life. If they don't respond to you and they're not into you, or maybe they just missed it, you know, then give it a break. You know, I'd say don't hound people over and over again. One of the things that you can do is to retweet things that people post, and in TweetDeck and in Twirl, there are buttons to do that when you hover over the user's picture, and what that will do is repost whatever they just tweeted that you are retweeting, and it will attribute that to that person, and they will see it in their stream that you retweeted that. People appreciate that as well because you know, you're giving them more exposure to the people that are following you, and it's also giving them kind of like a big thumbs up, like, hey, that was a cool tweet. So people like that. So that's something that you can do to kind of boost the way that people perceive you in terms of being a person who is contributing to the community as opposed to just sucking away and dropping links on it. Mike also asks, you said that my niche converts well in Twitter. Do all of your niches, not just internet marketing, convert well? Compare your results for us briefly between Juice Cleanse and IM if you wouldn't mind, or whatever is a useful comparison. Yeah, I haven't done anything for Juice Cleanse beyond that, what I did in that video. I haven't gone back and tweeted people, and I kind of felt bad actually because I looked the other day and a couple of people had replied to me, and yeah, I felt sort of bad because I kind of disappeared. And that's why you don't want to do the social networking thing if it's in a niche that you're not into, because you're, to put it bluntly, you know, you're kind of screwing with real people, you know. So don't get involved and don't start trying to make connections and stuff unless it's a site that you do want to continue to do that in. Now, as far as do other niches convert in Twitter? Yes, absolutely, and I have found that to be the case in some of the other niches that I am in. If you can create a community around your topic as opposed to around your product, you know, because we're not Dell. You know, Dell can create a big community around their product. To get started, you want to create a community around your topic. And from there, you can introduce your brand or whatever it is that you're selling as people's trust grow in with you. But in the beginning stages, all that you want from Twitter is that you grow some connections with people, you get some friends, you get some people following you, and those people will start to visit your site, right? And I would say that for conversions, we're not looking for, I tweeted this link and I made 7 sales. That's not the kind of conversion that Twitter necessarily gets for you immediately like that, because people are on Twitter at all different times of day. They may or may not click a particular link that you throw out. But as you continue to have conversations with people in your niche, and as you continue to be an enthusiastic supporter and evangelist for your niche, you will have occasion, of course, to contribute to that conversation, and it may be an affiliate link or it may be a link back to one of your sites that has an affiliate promotion on it or your own product on it, whatever it might be. And it's kind of a snowball effect where, you know, I've got 100 followers. I send out a link. Nobody buys anything. Does that mean Twitter doesn't work? No. It just means that I need to grow a little bit of trust and grow my brand a little bit more with Twitter and the people that are following me. And once I do so, then we start to see that people become a lot more aware of you as a brand in terms of not necessarily your product, but just who you are in that niche, and you become a leader. And then people start talking amongst themselves about you and the things that you're doing and the products that you're offering. And that's when we get that snowball effect, and that's when the conversions really start happening in a niche. Mike also says, one of my niches is local real estate. I can't see where I can only search for local tweets. Am I just blind? I actually showed that in the Twitter video. If you go to search.twitter.com and then click on advanced search, you can search by zip code. So for you, Mike, in a local niche, that's where you would want to do that. Okay, James says that Cam Studio works quite well, although I haven't used Camtasia to compare it with. It's an open source program that can be downloaded for free at camstudio.org, so you guys can give that a try for doing screen capture video. And keep in mind, too, you may be beyond this, but Camtasia does allow a 30-day free trial, so you can use Camtasia for 30 days at no cost. And here's George also saying that Cam Studio is an option. Next question is from Anne, and she says, not really having to do with Module 6, but I have 2 sites on WordPress Direct hosted with HostGator. Is it easy enough to move these sites to WordPress and optimize with all the great stuff I've learned on Crowd Mountain? Yeah, the sites that you have with WordPress Direct, they're hosted. I don't know if you mean that the sites are WordPress Direct-owned sites in terms of like you have a subdomain on one of theirs, so it's a free WordPress Direct account, or if it's a paid one where they just kind of set it up for you. If it's one that they set it up for you, but you're paying for that and you've purchased like your own domain name and stuff, then yeah, all that you have to do is get FTP access to your site, and HostGator has that. And whatever WordPress Direct gave you when you signed up with them and that pay plan, or HostGator when you signed up with them, should have FTP access. You can upload the plugins just like we did in the videos and optimize them just like we did in the videos. And if your site is actually on a WordPress Direct subdomain and it's a free WordPress Direct account, then I don't know if they allow people to move their content out or not. And, I just don't know, Ann. I'm sorry. So that would be a question for the WordPress Direct people. So that's all that we've got for the questions that have been submitted ahead of time today, and I will open up the line shortly. I know that we don't have as many people as we normally do, but I will open up the line shortly for questions, and please do me a favor and hit *6 to mute yourself so that we don't get a lot of feedback. So I'll open up the lines, and we'll see how it goes. All right, you guys are unmuted, so go wild. Now, does anybody have a question? Live questions. We are going to go once and going twice and going 3 times. Thank you guys so much for attending the Bootcamp Module number 6, even though we were a bit late today. And keep updated at Crowd Mountain as I do have some announcements coming like I talked about. And we'll be having new content up in Crowd Mountain Current on the regular now that we're done with the boot camp. So thank you guys again so very much, and I will talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.